Profit Soccer. This is a software based on stopping at a winner, and we've added more features, obviously, with being soccer or football, depending on where you live and what you call it. We've added more features so that it can be more versatile and in fact cover more games. So in this video, what I'd like to do is treat it a bit like a tutorial so that you can understand what this software does. First of all, the software is looking at recovering our losing stakes until we hit a winner. Now, we have, in order to do this, we have at the top here, we have 1, 2, all the way through to 10 different tabs, and each tab will be an ongoing recovery within itself. So we're not necessarily looking at one game finishing and then starting another game and then starting another game. That would mean we would only get maybe 3 or 4 or 5 games maximum in a day. This way we have one game. If we have 5 games, for example, starting at 3 o'clock, then those games that qualified would go into tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, etc. So if we had even 8 games starting and we had all the tabs ticked, you don't have to have all the tabs ticked. You can just run on 2 or 3 tabs if you want to. Then if say for example you had the whole 10 tabs ticked and there was 10 qualifying games starting at 3 o'clock, then all 10 games would have bets placed on them. So currently we're on what we call the settings page, and this is where we have the 2 tabs here, back and lay. So depending, and each tab works totally independent within its settings. So you can see here, if I click on here, these are the markets that we can bet on. Matched odds, unders and overs, both teams to score. Now when you pick a market to bet on, that is all that the backing bets can be. Okay, so you can't have 2 backing bets on the matched odds, 2 backing bets on under and overs. When you make a market, then that's all that the backing bets will be. And home odds, then you have the way, draw, or favourite if you want to. At the moment I'm using favourite, it's working quite well for me. Here we get to put in the minimum odds and the maximum odds as to what we want the games that we'll be betting on. And one that works very well for Michael is 1.6 to 2.5. And so any games at the moment, any games where the favourite is between these between 1.6 and 2.5, we're looking at playing. We can go pre-play or in-play. We've only concentrated on pre-play mainly because the odds change so quickly in in-play. But if you want to play around with in-play, that's up to you. And here I always have it set at 5 minutes before the game kicks off. And then here we have the critical factors of amounts matched for the odds, for the matched odds. So here you put in the minimum amount of money that must be in the game before you will bet on it. Now, and it's always in the currency that your Betfair account is in. So if you put 5,000 in there and you have a British-based account with pounds, then it would be 5,000 pounds before the bot would look at putting a bet on that market. If you're using a US dollar account, then it would be looking at 5,000 US, or if you're in Australia like myself, it would be looking at 5,000 Australian dollars. So depending on what currency is, depending how much you want to put in there. If you only wanted to do the big games, then you would put in obviously 100,000 or something like that. I always tend to run 5,000 because I think that's enough money in the market to start designating a favourite from it, you know. And then we can also go to the secondary markets and pick something here, just for example, and you can have whatever odds that you want to be in the under and over 0.5 market. So I just run that as default at 0 if you're only doing the match odds market. That's up to you. The next thing is, how much profit do we want to make per game? Well, I've got 1. Every time we get a winner, I want at least £1 profit or dollar profit. Each tab has a stop profit, and I put 20. So when a tab gets to 20 on the backing side, it will stop and start again. If you have it unticked, it will get to 20 and it will stop. It won't place any more bets on that tab until such time as you reset it. And 100, all tabs get to 100. So if all the tabs total 100, then all tabs will be reset back to 0. The bot will either continue betting if you have the continue tick. If it doesn't, it will stop and wait for further instructions from you. Stop at a loss. Each tab has its own stop at a loss. It all works from here. If it's a backing one, you put in 40, and if once a tab breaches 40, then that tab will stop betting on the loss recovery. And if you don't have this ticked, it will stop completely. If you have it ticked, it will restart at 1 at trying to get 1 profit again, or whatever profit you have set up here. Okay, now keep in mind, it will go over the stop loss. It has to be breached before the tab will stop. So keep in mind that your stop loss, if you have 40 in there, it doesn't mean it will stop always at 40. It will stop 1 bet after it's gone past 40. Okay. Continue without restart. I don't suggest you use that, but it means that we just keep on continuing to chase losses until we got a winner, and I don't think that's a very good strategy. Profit delta is on the back tab only, and it is how much profit do you want to get after a losing bet. Say we have one game and it loses, so we're trying to get £1 target. That bet loses. So what the profit delta does is, seeing it's a losing bet, it will add 0.25 to that £1. So it'll be £1 2.25 that we will try and win, plus what losses we incurred. So it means after 4, say we had 4 losing bets in a row for that tab, and we hit a winner, instead of just getting the original 1 profit, because we've had 4 lots of 0.25 deltas, we would get a £2 profit if we had a winner after 4 losses. So that's quite a handy thing to have to increase your profit exponentially. While we're talking about tabs, then we have the lay tab, which is identical to the backing tab, except it doesn't have a profit delta, because laying can get out of control quite quickly. The losses can build up quite quickly, so we don't add a profit delta to it. But people that love to lay will then go for it. Knock yourself out. You can lay the draw, you can lay the away, you can lay the favourite, you can put the odds in that you want, and you can even lay the other markets as well, the under and overs, and the both teams to score. So that's all there. And each the back and lay are independent of each other. However, you can use, like you can have, say, a backing setup and a lay setup, and as the games come into play, then they will get shared into the tabs. And so it's quite possible, I'll just bring up tab number 1, it's quite possible here that you have lay bets and back bets in here. It's quite possible to have that happening at the same time. And up here on this side here, on the left hand side, will be your backing profit, and the right hand side is your laying profit. Okay, so here you can see we've got no profit on backing and 2 points on the lay. Okay, so back to the settings. So that is how you set up the settings. The next thing you need to set up here is your commission. I put in 5%. The API request is an automatic feed. You don't have to touch that. If you're running your software on a PC, it should be running around about under 10 anyway, way under 10. If you're on a VPS, we know that some VPSs are running quite a bit higher than that, but I think there must be a VPS feature. The other things to look at is auto load. If you have auto load checked, then the markets will update every 2 hours. New games will be added every 2 hours. If you have an Australian wallet on your account, then you can tick the Australian matches and it will bet Australian matches as well. If you don't have an Australian wallet, make sure that this is unchecked. Okay, and so if you have auto reload there, this bot will keep running day after day after day without any human interference. Okay, so that's the setup. Once we have the setup all done, we can push start and away the bot goes. And the next tab we have is current bets. It shows you what bets you've got currently, what tab they belong to, the date, and all that other necessary information about that bet. Cancel bets, if there's any bets cancelled, they'll be in here. All your results of the betting is in here, and the accumulated profit is always shown up in the top, and sequence line number 1 will be your accumulated profit figure all the time. So at the moment we're running at a loss here of 3.42 in the laying the draw. I'm just testing laying the draw. That's what we've been doing since we've managed to get this software working well. Is we're testing different features, different strategies. The tabs, as I said, the tabs will reflect all the bets. You can clear a tab. You can clear the backing or laying just by clicking that. It will set the reset the tabs back to 0. The other thing we have up here is we can transfer profit from this tab, from our back account or a lay account. They must be in profit, but we can transfer the money to another tab that is losing money, and then we can transfer it into their back or their lay. So we can balance the books, as you'd like to say, as we're going along. If we have one tab that's doing extremely well, might have, say 15 points profit, and we have another tab that might be down 10, we can transfer those losses into that tab that's down, and this will obviously stop the accumulation of losses chase that tab is trying to achieve in order to get into profit. So it's a very handy feature if you can transfer profits from a winning tab into a losing tab to keep that accumulated loss chase down. Enable this tab is you must obviously tick a tab in order for it to be enabled. You can see I'm not using tabs 7, 8, 9 or 10, and that's why they are unchecked. Okay, the next tab here is log, and this shows you all the activities of what the bot is doing. So it helps if you want to check a few things don't seem to be working correctly for you. You can check the tabs and see what is happening. Okay, we can see, like here for example, tab 1 is occupied, tab 2 is free for betting, and so on and such forth. Okay, so that is basically in a nutshell Auto Profit Soccer. It will monitor the games 24 hours a day and place the bets as the games meet the requirements that you have here. So it's a very exciting way to accumulate profit in football or soccer without having to watch the games. The software will do it for you, and having the tabs, it spreads your loss chase over many different tabs, and as I said, to be able to transfer them from one tab to another is a very handy feature to keep your overheads down. We're very excited with this software. It's taken quite a long time to get to this stage, but it's working well. We've had an enormous amount of fun with it. I run one on my laptop and I run one on my on the VPS. So when I'm away, the VPS one still runs 24/7 without me having to get involved in it. So if you like football, you like making some money, you like having fun, then it all equals Auto Profit Soccer. Thank you, and all the best. Cheers.